Hello everyone, this is Locko S, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Jettison tutorial on the Mirage 1000C. In case you need to get rid of ordnance that is on your aircraft and get it away from the aircraft, is to get it lighter for instance, if there's an emergency, if you lose power or get your engine damaged during mid-flight, or if you're in you jump in a dogfight all of a sudden. This is the tutorial for you to get rid of the excess ordnance. Now, bit of a warning. First off, this loadout that I have currently on the Mirage 1000C is for display purposes only and illustrative purposes only, because having these Mark 82 bombs in addition to the Super 530s has effectively jammed the Mirage's weapons computer. So it doesn't know what the heck's going on, because it either knows that it has, because the Mirage's weapon computer can only either have the data for the Super 530s loaded, or it can have the air-to-ground data loaded, or air-to-ground weapons data loaded. So in this kind of configuration, unfortunately, the Mirage is effectively useless. So keep that in mind. This is for illustrative purposes only. So let's hop back into the cockpit, and the main reason why I wanted to illustrate this, use that loadout to illustrate something, is the first way the first way I want to show you how to jettison stuff in the Mirage 1000C is this giant, shiny, yellow button down here with the stripes on it. Hitting this button is the emergency jettison switch. This is only to be used in emergencies, because when you press it, you jettison everything on the Mirage 1000C. So we have the Mark 82 bombs, jettisoned. The centerline fuel tank, jettisoned. Your Super 530 air-to-air missiles that you possibly could have used to defend against the air-to-air threat that you jettisoned your whole munitions for are also gone. So be very careful about hitting the emergency jettison switch button while your aircraft is loaded for air-to-air work. If the only thing that you want to jettison to lighten up your aircraft for a dogfight is the centerline fuel tank, we'll want to use the selective jettison up here. Again, emergency jettison gets rid of everything on the Mirage 1000C except for the Magic 2 missiles, which you did notice, by the way, are still attached. But thing is, if you're doing an emergency jettison because you got jumped in a dock because you were set up for an air-to-air loadout and you just wanted to get rid of the fuel tank quickly, you're going to find out that 2 of your missiles are now gone, and they're your Super 530 Fox 1 missiles, which are very useful and powerful tools for the Mirage 1000C. So remember, if you're an air-to-air, basically if you're an air-to-air loadout, do not hit this button unless it's an absolute dire emergency and you need to lose weight to make an emergency landing or the like. Next up, we're going to go over the selective jettison. So I'm going to go ahead and put an edit in here. We're going to reload this mission. I'm going to go back in the mission editor that came from. Set the Mirage with a more quote-unquote appropriate loadout. And then we'll go here and I'll show you how to do selective jettison. Alright, welcome back everyone. So we are now using oh, by the way, if you didn't catch my tutorial where I went over this, the PPA test switch, if you press it into the down PRES state, it'll bring up this display on the Mirage's radar, showing you what you have currently equipped on the Mirage 1000C. So in this case, we have the Magic Super 530s here, and then we have a centerline fuel tank here. And this is indeed a valid loadout. As we can see, we now have a properly functioning PCA weapon panel down here. So going over here, we can see that our centerline fuel tank is now empty because we have ET here on this centerline part of our fuel gauge here. So that's our external tank empty in the middle. So we want to go ahead, and we expect to be getting into a dogfight soon, so we're going to go ahead and jettison the centerline fuel tank. First off, to jettison this empty centerline fuel tank, you can go ahead and pop open the selective jettison switch cover. Push the selective jettison switch as well, and then you'll have your weapons available that's jettison down here. So you want to jettison the centerline fuel tank. So we select that right here, and keep in mind that you do not need to have master arm switch for this to work, because after you have these switches opened up and on, and the weapon is select the store that you want to jettison selected. You literally just press the weapon release trigger, and off it goes. You can hear the little thump from the centerline fuel tank coming off. Go down to press, and we can see the centerline fuel tank has jettisoned. And then we can go back to normal, and there we go. As you can see, all of our weapons are now normal as such. Keep in mind, some other things about jettisoning ordnance. The Magic 2 missiles can technically be jettisoned. So, go down here to, again, activate this selective jettison. Go to Mag, select that. The orange S will appear, and then you press the weapon release trigger. Both magic missiles will fire off in a straight line. And then Super 530s, we'll go ahead and jettison them just for giggles again, and then we can jettison them as well. And now we have a completely clean Mirage 1000C. And that is how you jettison weapons from the Mirage 1000C. There is one other thing I just want to briefly talk about, is on these exterior, on the inboard wing pylons here, if you do have bombs equipped on the AUF2 adapter, which basically allows you to carry 2 bombs on the inboard wing pylons, hitting the emergency jettison switch button will jettison both the bombs and the actual adapter. So you can lose quite a bit of weight that way. If you do need to, if you just want to get rid of the adapters and you dropped all your bombs off, you can go ahead, hit the emergency jettison switch, and the adapters will fall off. And that's it for the jettison tutorial for the Mirage 1000C. It's a relatively quick tutorial, and I hope that you will definitely be able to use it if you ever get into a pinch and an emergency. In general, like I said, for air-to-air use, I would generally only use selective jettison to get rid of your centerline fuel tank. You don't want to lose your Super 530 missiles in a dogfight. And one last thing, if you do have air-to-ground ordnance equipped and you have to do an emergency jettison to deal with an air threat that jumped you, make sure that you also, as soon as you hit the emergency jettison switch to lose your ground stores, immediately switch your fly-by-wire from air-to-ground mode to air-to-air mode. That way you will actually be able to get your fly-by-wire system suited up for an air-to-air dogfight. And that's it. Hope that you found that useful, and I'll see you all in the next video.